For example, if you were trying to run a McDonald's and you had 10 employees and all of them spoke a different language, not only would nobody be able to do an order, take an order, but nobody would be able to make the order. You need to have a common language. The police department,
American citizens and green card holders have been subject to wrongful detention and wrongful deportation. It hasn't happened in Las Vegas yet, but it's happened in other states with 287G programs. U.S. citizens have been detained. U.S. citizens have been deported because the police officers did not believe that they were U.S. citizens. This could happen to you as well.
El programa 287 que para demover las personas indocumentadas que hayan sido convictas por un crimen.
I'm asking you a question. You need to tell me your name.
Niña.
Step on the vehicle, please. When were you born?
No.
Do you have a green card? I can't. I don't think it really matters. Y'all have problems listening. But the voice of we the people, the legal citizens of the United States of America, residing in the state of Nevada, respectfully demand that all illegal aliens respect and obey the laws of this great state as set forth in the Nevada Constitution. The very same laws every Nevadan is governed by if our civil society is to be maintained. Our Constitution should in no wise be irreverently disrespected, neither should it be misconstrued as harsh, unfair, nor inhumane when implementation of just due diligence becomes necessary. To simply ignore the upholding and enforcement of our laws that have been sworn with an oath to uphold and enforce. And let's take the young lady on the field. So here's a question that I'd like to ask. Why is it with 500,000 illegal immigrants, we only got 12 officers to do this detention program of the 287G, since this is what this is all about? As American taxpayers and legal citizens of the United States and legal resident of the state of Nevada, I truly would like to know that I might share with my children's children someday the greatness of this state's leaders, how we can make a decision that only those that are in detention. Why don't we get all of them that are illegal lawbreakers and put them into detention, and then we can use the detention program to screen them out? Thank you.
better to have it in the detention center than not have it at all.
Everybody ready? Text it. No, I see something. No, sir, I'm done with you. I'm going to go tell the people. Thank you very much. It came from, I don't know who brings it up, but why you give information that's clearly false is ridiculous. So I'm just telling you, gentlemen,
If you had watched the video, you would have seen that she gave her name, as is required to. If you had listened, you would have got, no, that's it, no.
I was going to get there. I should come. Thank you for doing this here.
My name is Jesse Long. I do have a bunch to say. First of all, I don't personally mind the fact that people come here looking for opportunity. I just can't blame them. I see the human side. However, I am affected by this, and what I'm affected by is that there's a double standard. I have a friend who's a city marshal. There are 100,000 warrants in the city. Many of them are of Hispanic descent. It doesn't matter. However, when it comes across the many cases of the arrested individuals who are illegal, who have no identification, you can't find them. Okay? You said at least 50% are Hispanic, and the way that they track these guys that are down, they have to have the guy's name that he gave them. Maybe it's true, maybe it isn't. They go to the neighborhood where this gentleman was detained. He may have been driving a car that wasn't in his name. He didn't have insurance. He may have been drunk driving, etc. My point here is this. I follow the law. In fact, I would never drink and drive, and I know better than to drive without insurance. But, you know, if I had a little darker skin, maybe if I spoke Spanish, I could manage to get away with not murder, but you get the expression. So my question is, how is it that you guys can even feel like you can do your job effectively when you guys are faced with bringing these guys into jail, letting so many of them out, and having U.S. Marshals not even detain them? Aren't police on the streets, and yes, I've talked to them, disheartened and not even wanting to detain these guys because judges are letting them go. And I know our city's better than most. Austin, Texas, San Francisco, they let everybody go. But my point is, here, it's like God's among men if they're not accountable to law. And that's all I have to say about it. Thanks,
And run them through Clark County Detention Facility, or whether they choose to issue a ticket. We're already starting to hear reports, alarming reports that are raising red flags, that officers are asking certain questions to get an immigration status. Basically, besides the lack of funding, which I already mentioned earlier, the $1 million.
This great country. There were a couple of examples given that I would like to comment on. One was the green card example. You are required, if you have a green card by federal law, to carry it on your person at all times. The fact that they did not have it on their person is what led to their incarceration and their problem with immigration. If they had obeyed the law, they would not have been arrested. As far as the car stop, the traffic stop on the video, the officer did not ask any questions that they did not ask every single person that they stopped. And so ignorance of the law is no excuse. That's how I would